This is CBS.
On Action 11 News tonight, we'll have a live report on the Kentucky Supreme Court working late on the UK and newspaper battle over closing trustee meetings on NCAA allegations, and more on the controversy over the Amish father who won't take his son for cancer treatment.
Some families of the Carrollton bus crash victims say it's a long road to recover from that disaster, and one man's lifetime love of model trains marks 50 years and still collecting. The Action 11 News Night Team is coming up next.
Spring starts this Saturday during the 32nd Annual William H. King Sport, Boat, and Vacation Show. Over $20 million in exhibits are spread across 16 acres, including the latest in boating, RVs, fishing, travel, and more.
Come out to William H. King's Sport and Vacation Show. 'Cause it won't be long till it's that time of year.
Opening Saturday at the Kentucky Fair and Expo Center.
Value City Furniture customers, we've cut prices again. Our warehouse and showrooms are jammed to capacity with discontinued 88 merchandise, and new furniture's arriving daily. There's only one thing we can do. Everything must go. Living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, dinettes, recliners, tables, lamps, pictures, desks, everything. Gigantic markdowns, record-breaking savings, incredible price cuts. Nothing is held back. We've cut prices again. Buy with no money down, because everything must go at Value City Furniture.
At Genghis Formal Wear, we love weddings. And while we seldom get to attend our customer ceremonies, we always give a gift to every couple who makes Genghis a part of their special day. That's because when you come to Genghis to register your wedding and say, "I do," we'll give the groom his tux absolutely free. That's our special gift. So when you're planning your special day, remember to invite Genghis.
Action 11 News is next on WHAS TV, Louisville.
Action 11 News Night Team is sponsored in part by Great Financial Federal, your key to financial security.
Action 11 News Night Team with Gary Rodemeyer, Melissa Forsythe, Chuck Taylor's weather, and Dave Conrad with sports.
Good evening, I'm Melissa Forsythe.
And I'm Gary Rodemeyer. The University of Kentucky's legal battle to hold a closed open meeting, but tonight in Frankfort, the university is asking the state Supreme Court to overturn the lower courts. And Sam Wyatt is live tonight via telephone from Frankfort with the latest. Hello, Sam. What's going on?
Yes, Gary, there are going to be some sleepy eyes around the state capitol tonight waiting on this one. The judge has gone back to his chambers after an hour and 20-minute argument, and he says that he hopes to have an answer for both parties, the Louisville Courier-Journal and the University of Kentucky, by 8:30 tomorrow morning. That's when the meeting starts in Lexington by the UK board. Of course, the issue is the Courier-Journal wants the meeting open, in which the board is to respond to 18 allegations from the NCAA of wrongdoing. And, of course, the university wants those responses to be made in private. It looks like, though, I might say, the judge may be coming down on the side of the university. He's saying and making statements that the Courier-Journal might be premature in their suit, that the coaches and players and whomever else allegations are made against should be able to make those responses before the information is made public. But that's the way it's going right now. Of course, the meeting starts at 8:30 in the morning, and whatever happens, we're going to be there. And I might add again, should the judge rule against the university, the meeting might be opened, but the university doesn't even have to discuss that issue at all, so it might be a meeting for nothing. But that's the way it's going right now, and we'll be on the scene to find out what happens.
Sam Wyatt reporting from Frankfort. Thank you, Sam.
A Hardin County Amish man remains in jail tonight for refusing to tell a judge where his cancer-stricken son is. Dan Mass stopped taking the boy to a Louisville hospital for court-ordered treatment. Jerry Fiala has reaction to the hotly debated moral, religious, and legal issue.
The court ruling that sent Dan Mass to jail has drawn support from some members of Louisville's legal community. They say the right of the child to be treated and live should come first.
Why should parents be entitled to make a decision to allow a child to die? That doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't this child have a right to have somebody help him make a determination on whether it's best to live?
According to the child's uncle, 6-year-old Amos Mast underwent 2 chemotherapy treatments at Kosair Children's Hospital.
Religion permeates everything they do. They feel that they are better off to trust God than they are to get into the chemotherapy, which they feel would affect the remaining quality of this child's life.
It's a persecution. It's not a prosecuting, because we don't feel that we're abusing the child. We're taking care of the child.
A hospital spokesperson says it's a doctor's legal and moral responsibility to report the boy had not received continued treatment.
If they see a case where a child is having treatment refused for the child, for them to go either to Child Protective Services or to the courts and tell them that that treatment is being refused. At that point, then the court takes over and determines what should be done.
Oliver Barber helped found Kentucky Youth Advocates. He says if the child dies, Mast could face criminal charges.
He could be charged under Kentucky's penal code, possibly with manslaughter or some other type of reckless homicide. And I tell you something else. The people that are harboring the child, that physically are caring for this child right now, may very well be subjecting themselves to some type of aiding and abetting charge.
Kentucky law allows over a parental objection, even for religious beliefs, that where a child's in risk of danger or harm for lack of medical care, for the court to intervene.
Dan Mast's attorney says he'll be held in jail until he brings the boy to court or the child dies of cancer. The type of cancer involved and the child's present condition are still unclear tonight. Jerry Fiala, Action 11 News, Night Team.
8 months after the Carrollton bus crash, the families of victims are still meeting and talking and trying to deal with the grief. Tonight, a team from the National Office of Mothers Against Drunk Drivers returned to Radcliffe with offers of more help.
No one else can go through the tunnel of recovery except you in your unique walk through the rest of your life. But I can tell you, you don't have to walk alone. You don't have to be there alone. There are other people who are there to help you.
All of the MAD team have experienced similar tragedies in their lives, and now they are ready to share their experience and compassion. And for the survivors, especially those who escaped the bus fire, there is much, much left to be done.
For our surviving daughter coming off the bus, her life hasn't been the same since. She's almost a Jekyll and Hyde type personality with us. We take great strides in trying to help her as much as possible and to try to get her as much help as necessary. We've been into a lot of counseling. She gets counseling from school, from the outside, and it's not an easy experience.
It is a matter of living through birthdays and holidays when memories of lost loved ones are most vivid. But a pastor who counsels the survivors almost daily sees progress.
And yet we could see some positive attitudes, moments of anger, and of course, when they would vent their feelings, especially at times when Mr. Mahoney was released from jail and et cetera like that, or anniversaries, birthdays, and they'd be facing that. But then we've just seen them grab a hold again and just keep saying, hey, I've got to keep moving forward. And so they are making progress.
And the progress continues tomorrow in Radcliffe with counseling sessions that resume at 9 a.m.
Next on the Night Team, George Bush and his White House press corps get acquainted and remembering the crew of the Challenger.
Whether you live on 2 acres of land or 6 stories of concrete, home is a special place for all of us. It represents...
Most other car dealers are having...
Southern California. Jury selection for the trial lasted 6 months. Ramirez is 28 years old and a self-proclaimed devil worshiper.
Political extremist Lyndon LaRouche will spend the next 15 years in prison. Defiantly declaring his innocence, LaRouche was sentenced today for scheming to defraud the IRS and deliberately defaulting on loans from his supporters. An attorney for LaRouche says he'll appeal the sentence. 6 LaRouche aides were also given lesser prison terms and fines. And 3 more people have been caught in the net of Operation Illwind, the Pentagon fraud probe. A Marine procurement officer has pleaded guilty to taking bribes, and a former corporate executive and a consultant both confessed to making illegal campaign contributions to key members of Congress. The 3 will be sentenced later this year. And former National Security aide Oliver North was back in court today. His lawyers are trying to force President Bush and former President Reagan to testify at North's conspiracy trial. Judge Gerhard Gesell says he could compel the two to testify if he had to, but only as a last resort. Gesell still has not ruled on the motion.
After his first week in office,
First concern about entertainment tonight. The stars come out on Entertainment Tonight, weeknights at 7 on WHAS TV.
It will be 3 years tomorrow since the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded. Across the country, school children and neighbors remembered the 7 people lost in the accident. But NASA officials say they're leaving the ceremonies to others, concentrating on the future and not the past.
3 years ago, they walked to the launch pad saying they hoped their mission, the teacher in spaceflight, would bring lessons to the rest of us, would be remembered as making a difference.
3 years later, they are remembered in places like this, a quiet grove in the corner of a park with a marble monument. The kind of treatment designed to remind us of our national heroes.
And they are remembered in places like this, Challenger pilot Mike Smith's neighborhood, where his friends have erected their own marker for life. But most of all, they are remembered in places like this, Krista McAuliffe Junior High, just outside Houston. Here, the youngsters put on their Sunday best once a year and remember the woman after whom their school is named, and the people who helped carry her dream.
As you go through life, this is one event that you can always state that you were a part of this history.
With all the formality they can create, they added a marker to the oak tree and 7 yellow roses they had placed before, and made a pledge that would have made the teacher in Krista McAuliffe very proud.
That our efforts in the pursuit of academic excellence at McAuliffe reflect the inspiration represented by the Challenger.
For the past 2 years, NASA has marked the anniversary with solemn moments of silence and the lowering of the flag. Never again, they say. The man who uttered the now famous phrase, "a major malfunction," says he will not need ceremony to remember.
I think it's something that's with you every day. I certainly think of it an awful lot more than once a year, and I'm sure that the people who work with it out here think of it an awful lot more than once a year.
No comment from the families. They ask only that the public remember the Challenger Center and the people whose dreams it represents. In Houston, John Getter for CBS News.
It was something the White House press corps has not seen in years. The president called for an impromptu news conference this morning. For almost an hour, George Bush was quizzed on his views on a dozen subjects. Bush said he supports a congressional pay hike, calling it long overdue. He also said he hopes his pledge for no new taxes will last all 4 years in office. During the relaxed question and answer session, Bush asked the reporters for some advice.
What would be the fair and noble way to handle follow-up questions as we do these things? Would it be good to have them or not have them?
Yes.
But then you cut out, but then if we do it, everybody else doesn't get a chance to answer questions, because I'm about to pull a ripcord on this thing. No, seriously, how do we, I want some advice.
Statement and just not have anyone follow it up, it just hangs out there.
If somebody's playing games with you, say I'm sorry. Say I've already answered them. Then what happened?
The president says his first week in office has been a lovely one. Still ahead on the night team, make good use of your Saturday because rain will be arriving halfway through the weekend. Chuck Taylor's forecast next.
It's a small town, homegrown, made the way you make your own pizza. Tombstone
Bank, you're in on the ground floor with our top-level people. While we always have plenty of tellers as well as the Quest network for your personal banking, your business banking doesn't just get kicked around. Our key people are always ready to meet with you and give you immediate decisions. Stockyards Bank, your local alternative.
Announcing a revolutionary new way to save money on your next car, truck, or van. For the first time ever, the 11 Sam Swope car lines have united forces to bring you volume savings never before possible. Toyota of Louisville, Performance Volkswagen, Sam Swope Honda, Sam Swope Pontiac GMC Truck and BMW, Courtesy Suzuki, Courtesy Cadillac, Suburban Chevrolet Buick, and the new Sam Swope Mitsubishi. Now for the first time ever at volume discount savings. Introducing the all-new Sam Swope Automotive Network. Now more than ever, nobody walks away.
We British did something unusual. We reinvented the vacuum cleaner. We call it Vax. Of course, Vax is a powerful vacuum cleaner for all around the house. Then, presto! it becomes a carpet washer, sucking up dirt, grease and grime, leaving carpets dry enough to walk on immediately. WHAS. No wonder it's Britain's best-selling vacuum cleaner. It washes. See an amazing demonstration exclusively at Brand Central at Sears.
Kentucky Vietnam veterans may now apply for state bonuses. Veterans who served in Vietnam between July 1958 and May 15, 1975 are entitled to a $500 bonus. Others who were in limited service can receive up to $300. Money from the new state lottery will pay for the bonuses. Applications are available at most veterans groups, National Guard armories, and at Department of Employment Services offices.
Chuck Taylor is already over at the weather map tonight, getting ready for at least half of a good weekend. Chuck?
And we can kind of give you a verbal preview of what to expect over the weekend. Tonight it's going to be clear and cold. We'll see a low down to about 29. Tomorrow it will be clouding up as the day wears on. We'll see a high tomorrow of about 56, and tomorrow night rain will be moving in with an overnight low of 40. Well, right now we have clear skies. Our current temperature is 36 degrees. Humidity is 64%. Winds are out of the south at 5 miles an hour. The barometer 30.25, and the barometer is falling. Today's high, well, it was a pleasant 51 degrees. The low temperature this morning was 30. We haven't had any precipitation in the past 24 hours. Before we talk about nice warm weather around here for the day tomorrow, let's talk about that continuing cold wave in Alaska. Earlier this week we mentioned that they were having a major cold wave in Alaska. Well, they really bottomed out early this morning. In fact, they were setting all-time record low temperatures up there at Tanana, Alaska, early this morning. A record low of 76 below zero. McGrath, Alaska, 74 below zero. Galena, 68 below zero. And again, those are all-time records. Looks like the extremely cold weather is going to stay bottled up in Alaska for some time to come, although there are signs that the weather pattern may be changing, and it looks like the northeast corner of this country may be cooling off by midweek. And here, we may be seeing a return to normal temperatures for the first few days of February. Right now, though, temperatures aren't bad at all. Under clear skies, it's 37 at Frankfort, 35 up at Bedford, 34 at Covington, and 35 degrees at Bowling Green. We still have clear skies in our part of the country, but note high, thin clouds are now moving up into Missouri. And during the day tomorrow, those high, thin clouds will overspread the region, but tomorrow morning it should be quite pleasant with lots of sunshine. Now, under these clouds, there is quite a bit of precipitation, mostly in the form of rain, some rain heavy over northern Texas. And there has been quite a bit of heavy snow in northern sections of New Mexico. Some of those mountain areas have seen as much as 6 to 12 inches of snow. Now the heavy rain continues all the way up through sections of western Kansas. Again, all that precipitation will be heading in our direction. Right now, though, we have a high-pressure system protecting us from any bad weather. That will give us a clear, cold night tonight and a good start to the weekend. West of here today, it was quite mild. They were setting high-temperature records west of here. 58 for a new record at Des Moines. 63 in Rapid City, South Dakota, and up at International Falls, where they're normally setting record lows. They set a record high today with 43. Well, there's the storm system developing. It is going to continue moving toward the northeast. By late tomorrow afternoon, that storm should be up into Oklahoma and Kansas, heading toward the northeast, so the rain will be arriving here late tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, then continuing off and on through Sunday. Let's check out that forecast. For tonight, it will be clear and cold. The overnight low will be right around 29 degrees. For tomorrow, a nice start, then clouds will be increasing. We'll see a high of 56. Tomorrow night, the rain will be moving in with a low temperature of 40. Plan on a rainy day for Sunday with a high of 48. It will be clearing up with a high of 50 on Monday. And then a general cool-off starting on Tuesday. I think the last half of next week we'll see normal weather for early February.
Still coasting. Thank you, Chuck. Next on the night team, Dr. Dean Adele says too much discipline can damage your child.
Another 30 seconds of common sense. If you must test drive an Escort, drive...
Change the geography books. Senators in North Dakota are considering 2 resolutions that call for changing the state's name to simply Dakota. One senator says there's a certain romance about the name Dakota standing alone. The Democratic senator from Fargo would like Congress to modify the state's federal enabling act so the name could be changed.
Well, Louisville is adding another airline. Air Toronto will begin 3 daily flights between Louisville and Toronto beginning February 26th. Air Toronto is a 4-year-old company, and Louisville is its 8th American city.
Celebrities were out tonight at the 21st Annual Cystic Fibrosis Celebrity Dinner. The dinner held at the Galt House was hosted by Pee Wee Reese. The dinner gives those who are healthy the chance to help local youngsters who suffer with cystic fibrosis. And it's an evening where celebrities have fun interacting with hundreds of dinner guests while acting as waiters and waitresses for the evening. And of course, our own Jana Wallace and Wayne Hart were waiting tables. Wayne, did you spill any food on anybody?
No, I'm getting pretty good at this. I really am. I could maybe have another career on the side, maybe a little moonlighting.
Yeah, how about that? Why, did you do well with the tip?
Brothers Boat Mart and Louisville Downs. Find out more at 964-6415.
For a limited time, Bob Smith Chevrolet offers the Customer's Choice Program. 4.9% financing or cash back up to $1,000 on select new Chevys, like the Celebrity with room for 6, practical comfort, and cash back up to $1,000. You'll get $600 cash back on the Spectrum or 4.9% financing. It's your choice. Our sporty new Beretta with features you'd expect only in a higher price car also comes with $600 cash back. Take your choice, but don't wait. It can't last long. From the one Bob Smith Chevrolet.
8 Vietnam veterans from the Seattle area are returning to Vietnam as part of their treatment. The men will relive their war days to help them overcome post-traumatic stress disorder. 2 therapists are going with the men. A spokesman for the Veterans Hospital treating the men says the trip back to Vietnam may trigger subconscious feelings the veterans need to get out and deal with and help them find peace. A film crew will record the visit, and the documentary may be used in therapy for others.
How and when to discipline your children is a tough question for parents, but Dr. Dina Dell says too much discipline may cause serious long-term damage.
In the struggle to raise the perfect child, there's one problem every parent has to cope with: punishment. Most would agree children need some discipline, but how far should a parent go? Could harsh physical punishment cause behavioral and health problems later in life? Well, a recent study on childhood discipline came up with some interesting results. The researchers interviewed people who had a history of depression or who were alcoholics. The first thing they found, interestingly, was that most of the depression group were women, while most of the alcoholic group were men. But when it came to the relationship to childhood punishment, there were no gender boundaries. 41% of those with a history of depression and 40% with a history of alcoholism reported being beaten by their parents as children. Compare that to a group of people without any psychiatric diagnosis, of whom only 14% reported a history of harsh discipline. Other interesting results: girls were punished just as harshly as boys. Mothers were easier on kids than fathers, and discipline was much harsher when just one parent played tough guy and did all the punishing. All that points to consistency and fairness being key factors when it comes to discipline. Harsh punishment not only doesn't work in changing a kid's behavior, it may lead to serious problems later on. I'm Dr. Dina Dell.
Coming up in sports, Gary Montgomery with highlights of girls LIT tonight and on the boys' court, Fairdale and Doss.
I eat sausage with onions with your president, and my wife is telling me get lost. So, I'll take a Clorette's.
Hello, my little baboosh.
I've been collecting cards for 25 years, and I've never seen madness like this. It's almost like a lottery. People are coming up and they're buying these packs for $2.75, $3, whatever. And you know what they're coming for. Well, I didn't get them, and they just kind of throw the cards down.
Ripken claims a teammate played a prank on him. Fleer says he wants all the cards recalled. You can pay $100 for the card or take a chance on getting it in an unopened pack of cards for about $2.75. And I'll tell you, Steffi Graf won the Australian Open. As some people say, she's going to win the Grand Slam again. And Ted Scholes is still in the hunt at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He is only 4 shots behind Mark O'Meara, who is at 10 under.
Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks,
Rick. Coming up next, a German Shepherd that's a wonderful listener if you speak German.
Now at Tri-City Olds, get up to $1,500 cash back from Oldsmobile.
Final 88 clearance. Prices start at just $53.25. $53.25. Plus, get up to $600 factory cash back on an 88 Spectrum. $600 cash. Pocket the cash or use it as your down payment. Or choose financing as low as 4.9%. 4.9. But hurry, this is our final sale on all remaining 88s. Every Sprint, Nova, and Spectrum must go. See your nearest Kentuckiana Chevy dealer today.
Gary Montgomery is in for Dave tonight. I went back to my old hometown of Corydon tonight for their homecoming at the high school and saw a little basketball, so I'm warmed up and ready for the action tonight.
Did you enjoy the action?
I did, the first quarter.
Good. Let's start the action right here at Southern High School, where quarterfinal action in the girls' LIT was played. Tonight's first game pitted Manual against Owensboro, and the Lady Crimsons took control from the start. Ramonda James connects. She scored 24 points tonight for Manual, and here comes some good ball movement by Manual. Gwen Doyle hit Lisa Armstrong underneath. Again for Manual, Samantha Williams will get the putback. She was in double figures, scoring 11 points. Manual did a nice job of going to the boards. This time Gwen Doyle follows up the shot. She led everyone with 36 points. Manual 78-49 over Owensboro. They advance to the semifinals tomorrow. In the final game, the Barretts of Butler against Marshall County, and Butler's Chantel McIntyre on the miss, but Barbara Wilson follows it up while drawing the foul. Good outside shooting by Marshall County tonight in this contest. Here it goes from Rochelle Cadwell. For Butler, it's Chantel McIntyre on the inside with a score, but it was Marshall County advancing to the semifinals with a victory over Butler tonight. The final score was 50-42. Again, Manual win over Owensboro, 78-49. And in earlier games in the girls' LIT, Bryan Station defeated Ballard, 70-62, and East Hardin down Mercy. The final in that one, a one-point game, 55-54. Let's move to Fairdale's gym, where the Bulldogs hosted the Dragons from Doss High School. Playing scrappy defense early, the Dragons jumped on top of their hosts. Bill Rice is off to the races with the lay-in here. For Doss, they jumped to the early lead. However, Fairdale kept it close in the first quarter. Watch the alley-oop. Terry Wheat to Jermaine Brown, bingo. And when it worked so well the first time, well, you guessed it, they'll do it one more time. It's Wheat on the passing end and Brown on the scoring end. Brown finished with 25 points. Fairdale by 3 at the half. Into the fourth quarter, the Bulldogs took off on a 13-point scoring spree. Maurice Morris moves inside for the score, and he's fouled. He didn't seem to like it. Then the good ball movement by the Bulldogs coming up. A lot of passing to James Quinn, ending up with a score, and the Fairdale picks up the victory tonight. The final score was 72-65 over Doss. Ballard a winner over Eastern, 69-58, and DeSales a one-point win over Fern Creek. It was 65-64. Moore down Western, 87-72, and look at this next score. PRP was upset tonight. They're ranked number 2 in the state of Kentucky. Jeffersontown, 70-65. Actually, we had 2 calls on this one, a number of calls, but one of them said it was 71-65. No matter, J-Town won the game over PRP. No score in on Seneca Butler or St. X North Bullitt. However, Trinity did win. They beat Holy Cross 72-57. Valley, 66-52 over Southwest Christian. Iroquois down Manual, 65-57. Nothing in on the Carroll County-Shelby County matchup. Southern, a winner over Mayo, 82-79. Oldham County down Spencer County by 10. St. Romuald, a winner over Brown, 70-62. And in Indiana action, Bedford North Lawrence got a win over Jeffersonville tonight, 97-67. Damon Bailey with 23 in the win. Floyd Central over Clarksville, 82-64. Graceland Christian by 1 in overtime over Providence. It was 50-49. Graceland Christian over Providence. And also a couple of other scores. 9th and O defeated Portland Christian, 86-31. And Highview Baptist down Collegiate. Well, Steffi Graf did it once again, another Grand Slam title. Tonight, she won the Australian Open, her 5th straight Grand Slam title. Receiving serve from Elena Sakova in the second set, Graf hits the backhand down the line and then wins this point on the cross-court backhand. Graf won the first set 6-4. Let's move to the match point. Graf serving. She makes it look easy, winning the Australian Open. Again, it's her 5th straight Grand Slam title. 6-4, 6-4 tonight, the victory for Steffi Graf. By the way, tomorrow, Yvonne Lindo goes against Miloslav Machir in the men's finals. Bud Carson has been named the head football coach of the Cleveland Browns, replacing Marty Schottenheimer. Carson has been the defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. Carson's contract is for 3 years and is worth near $400,000 each season. Mark O'Meara shot a 4-under par 68 in today's second round of the Pebble Beach Golf Tournament. He's 10 under par and has a one-shot lead on Dave Stockton. Ted Scholes, the Kentucky Open winner from last year, is tied with Jack Nicklaus, 4 shots off the lead. Fuzzy Zeller is 2 under par. He's 8 shots back. Might make a charge tomorrow. We don't know in the third round. Ted Scholes is looking off a good one. The Kentucky Open out at Midland Trail earlier this year and got his card to get back on the tour, and he is doing great so far. I think he's been under par every round he's played.
Been on the leaderboard a lot.
He has.
Still ahead, a look at a man who just can't get enough of his train set.
I just needed a fun little truck at a good price. Instead, I got a Ford Ranger loaded with value and a factory discount over $1,300. All I really wanted was AM/FM cassette, sliding rear window, and two-tone paint. Instead, I got all that and more, plus free air conditioning. I would have settled for a pickup with a pretty good reputation. Instead, I got the best-selling compact pickup in America.
Now get low financing or cash back, where quality is standard. Your Ford dealer.
Now, I wouldn't settle for anything less.
Hi, I'm Bert Wolf. You know, there are a lot of good reasons to shop at Winn-Dixie, but listen to what makes a difference to these shoppers.
The quality's excellent. Again, back to the produce here. I think it's excellent.
The meat department, they'll get you anything you want.
You can run in and pick up a few things, or you can do your major shopping here and be very satisfied.
Winn-Dixie, in one phrase to me, is a fun, friendly place to shop.
You get low prices and a lot more at Winn-Dixie, America's supermarket.
Who? Smith's Furniture, that's who. It brings out the best in everyone.
There's a monster in Louisville. Budget car sales, monster clearance. 4 monster offers. A $3,000 minimum trade-in allowance on all red tag models. A $1,000 cash rebate. No payments till April. Monster discounts, like an '88 Chevy Cavalier, $59.95. This week at Budget Car Sales, monster clearance.
Some people start with a hobby that develops into an obsession. That's the way it is with one train buff in Columbus, Ohio.
Bob Cloud loves his model train layout. He got his hands on his first train when he was 5 years old, and he was hooked. He started collecting trains. 50 years later, he's still fascinated by them. His collection has grown over the years. He has a total of about 2,500 engines and railroad cars. He had to build this room addition to his house to house his collection.
You create your own environment. You're totally in control. There's nothing there to irritate you. If it doesn't work right, you turn it off.
What do you think is your most unusual train that you have?
I would think the little Z-gauge engine that we've got sitting on top of the smokestack of this large engine over here is the most unusual one I have. And that is fully operational, and it's electric, and it runs on tracks.
Bob makes some of the buildings on his display from scratch. Others are made from kits. There's something about watching the trains that is relaxing. And if you watch closely, you can see a train robber battling a good guy.
How much do you have invested in this?
I don't think we're going to say anything about that. My wife would kill me if she really knew. But I could not afford today, at today's prices, to go out and duplicate this. This is a collection that's been accumulated over a lot of years.
Bob says the time and money invested is outweighed by the fun and relaxation he gets from just playing with his trains. For CBS News, this is Ed Ross reporting.
Some little boys never grow up.
Every man in here was itching to get his hands on those. They were transfixed by the screen.
Gary's working on a train set.
I'm going home tonight and work on it.
Allegedly for his children. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Good night.